What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father. At Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. The link will be in the description box below. As usual, go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks, everybody, for supporting. This video is entitled, You Don't Have to Make Some Mistakes. I was looking at a clip of growing up hip-hop, and it looked like a bunch of adults who are still trying to be adults, I guess, kind of being rich and sheltered, kind of coddled, kind of put them in arrested development. But I see people who aren't like that, who weren't rich and coddled, act the same way, where you shouldn't, you're too old for certain things, but you don't see yourself as too old for certain things. You're not growing or grown. And I started thinking about, like, sometimes having conversations with my own son. I had to talk with him about he wants to make his own mistakes. And I'm like, well, you don't have to make certain mistakes. Like, I get trial and error, or I get you're approaching something differently. But a lot of times what I'm seeing is people are making not mistakes because they're uninformed, not mistakes from just trying different ways of doing things, but mistakes where they know the outcome, or what the outcomes will be, and they know they probably won't be good outcomes, but they continue down that path anyway. And to me, it's kind of silly because, like I said, you don't have to make certain mistakes. Like, I was listening to what was it, Rev Run and JoJo talking about he decided to run with the wrong people and this, that, and the third. And he was raised in a good environment where he doesn't have to, he doesn't need to be doing certain things like that. Not, he should know that that's not going to be a good life. But I guess he had to take that path, and that's a mistake you shouldn't have to make. That's a mistake, and he said, his father's words and advice, it all came to be true. And that's when it clicked that, he has to change his life. And I saw that so much when I was coming up, where people are doing things that were detrimental, and they knew they were detrimental, but, I got to just make this mistake. And, it ended up bad for a lot of people. Some people got killed, some people got shot, and some people are still, still hurt, tortured and stuff like that. And some people got, kids at an early age, and some people got their dreams shattered because of there was no coming back for some of the choices they made. And this is the crux of this conversation that I'm having is, you can't come back from everything. And I'm not saying there are special people, or not necessarily special, but exceptions to the rule. People who bounce back from the mistakes that they've made. But, don't force yourself to be an anomaly by digging a hole for yourself so deep that you got to do something miraculous to get out. Because, for the vast majority of people, that doesn't work. Some people just happen to be at the right place at the right time and meet the right people. Life worked out for them at that particular moment in a different way. And we got to stop acting like, excuse me, we got to stop acting like, if I go down their path that same way, I'm going to end up on the other side that they're on. That's not true. That's not true. Sometimes people, like, if you chose a career or a path, a lot of those people who are successful, they also don't have a problem with it when it didn't pan out, when it wasn't doing much for them. The same thing with starting a business. They were committed to the business and they wanted the business to grow, but they were committed to it when it wasn't doing good. When they envisioned it to be a business and they started from scratch, they knew they was going to make certain mistakes in the growing of the business, because that's the trial and error I'm talking about. But they didn't, make mistakes as though I'm going to put myself in such a financial disastrous position that I'm going to start a business and and be successful, because they may not, you might not be able to get loans. You may not be able to get credit. You might not have the money, but you put yourself in such a bad spot that now your mistakes come back to haunt you. And a lot of times that's what it is. Like, a lot of times people learn from failure, or from trial and error. They tried something and they failed, but they weren't intentionally making mistakes. I'm seeing people intentionally make mistakes, and that makes absolutely no sense to me, because even when you're dealing with other people and they say, look, man, if you go down this road, this was there. Well, that was what happened to you, but that's not me. But they're not the only one that was down that road. They're just telling you that they're one of the many people that went down that road, and that's how it ended. But but you don't want to hear that, And then when you become that person, and it happens to you, it's like, I was warned. Because a lot of times we don't talk about this, but a lot of people have been warned about not making certain mistakes. There are people who were uninformed and not told anything, but I think there's the vast majority of people were told, and some not just told. I would say the majority of people tried to stop them, and they fought their way into going down that path. And they fought so hard for the outcome that they got that, that's what they needed. And the sad part about it is you waste time making certain mistakes that you don't have to make. If you don't have to make a certain mistake, don't make it. If somebody, you might not understand, when somebody says this is the right way to do it, because you don't know the process. But if they can walk you through the process and say, this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is how it ends. And you go, okay, that's how it works. And then you do it, and that's how it works. Then still it's new to you, but you see it works and it's right. So you can get better at it. You can refine it for yourself. But when somebody says, this is A, this is B, this is C, that's how it's going to end. And you say something like, well, that's how it's not going for me, because, this is a different time. This is a different thing. The principles never change. The times do change. The technology changes. The ability to do things change, but the principle of certain things just don't. And that's the problem. A lot of us don't want to take that into consideration. And if you make certain mistakes, like, it's gonna make you look stupid. When you make a certain mistakes, they don't look right. They don't look like the mistakes of a person who has sense. Because it's like, you knew better. See, when they say when you know better, you do better. But we don't talk about the people who know better and they do worse, because they don't want to do better. And I was thinking about it. Something else I was watching where the character, The Witcher. I was watching The Witcher. And one of the characters, she just wanted to go down a particular path because she wanted something so bad that she caused chaos everywhere she went. And it's like, this is going to end bad, such and such is going to happen. And she didn't care. And it's like, okay, so you want what you want so bad, you're willing to kill yourself to get it. And I don't know how that's going to work, because when you're dead, you won't get what you want anyways, right? But it's the fact of, I want to be in control of this. My choice was taken, and I want to get my choice back. But in order to get what I want out of the situation, because that particular character wanted to have a baby and she was sterile. But when they asked her what she wanted, I want everything. So when she said she wanted everything, that had nothing to do with wanting to be fertile again. I want everything didn't sound like I wanted to be fertile. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, so you making these mistakes for the wrong reason anyways, right? And I was thinking like, yo, this is ridiculous, because it's a great character that when a person is, when it's showing that people are saying like, this is where you headed, and this is where I see you headed, and this is where you headed. But if you don't care and you got to make this mistake your own, then you got to live with the consequences. And the reason I'm talking about it this way is because what winds up happening is, when you want to make your own mistakes, you still got to live with it, right? And you can't get mad that you fought to make your own mistakes, and certain mistakes you didn't have to make, and you knew you didn't have to make it. And now you crying about how your life isn't where you want it to be. But guess what? You chose that life because you chose those mistakes, especially the ones you know you didn't have to make. I'm done with this. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.